Scratticus Academy. I'm going to run through a few things quickly before I hand over to the very lovely Holly. So please check out the links coming up in chat. We have a channel in our Discord purely to go and yell about moose meat donuts, weird mushrooms, and whatever it is you want to yell about over on our Discord. If you have missed any episodes, you can also head over to YouTube where we have a playlist of everything where you can catch up. Also, a huge thank you to our wonderful sponsors who we could not do this without, in the form of Hero Forge. You will have seen some of our characters made in the little models beforehand, and you will also see it in the break as well. Also, Maychan Press. Dark Matter's out, and I freaking love it. It's been 2 years in the process, and I've seen every single stage of it as it goes. It's amazing. I love it. Please go check it out. And also the Deck of Many, who made Humblewood, which is almost as awesome as the Children of RoeFeld. We're just a little bit too adorable. And also their moving spell cards. Otherwise, I'll hand over to very lovely Holly. Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. I'm Holly. You can find me at Sageophilia here on Tuesdays and on Twitter, Else Times. I'm the babysitter for the Skaggle of Children, and I'm having an absolute blast. We're going to go ahead and go in a normal order and slide it over to V's Knees. Oh, hi.
Hello there. I'm V's John, aka V's Knees, pretty much everywhere on the internet. Catch me here every Tuesday. My Masks game on Friday. We just had our finale last Friday, so I can get back to a normal sleep schedule because that was a very late game for me, but it was good. But yeah, I'm here. Hi. Oh, I play Zephyrin. I almost forgot my character. Zephyrin, the Mark of Shadow elf rogue, who he is now a swashbuckler because we got to level up a little bit. Yeah, happy to be back home, and there are mysteries to solve.
Mysteries afoot. Foots are a mystery.
They are.
Down to Lydia Heels. Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. I am Lydia. You can find me here every single Tuesday, being a little kid named Winnie. I'm a Divine Soul Sorceress, and if I am not here on Tuesdays, you can find me on Twitter, and then that will tell you other places I will be. Sorry for any barking or children's noises. That's just normal here.
We're playing a very organized Winnie because there are so much chaos. And not here today, but should be here later, Sassy with Sander. You can find her, I believe, the same handle on Twitter, and she's playing Fable, who is an Eladrin and is super fun, so I'm hoping that she will make it out here soon. And last but certainly not least, Alice, hello.
Oh, hi, I'm Alice. I'm also White Rabbit Pick on Twitter. I am the headmistress of the Academy. I DM for this channel, and as you can see, play on it as well. I also have a Patreon, because I have to remember it because Mal and Hans aren't here. I have a Patreon. Please go and check that out. There's lots of new projects coming to that in the next week, I think, so the chaos is real. Otherwise, I play Ronan, who is a small tabaxi monk who I guess has growing pains because he keeps getting taller and shorter, older and younger, and he's very confused about life right now. But I think he's happy to be her. I'll say that.
So last week on Dungeons and Dragons, we met up with the wizard who sent us on a quest to get magical items so that she could teleport us back home, and we fought some quicklings, little blue pixie fellas that were very rude, and eventually got what we needed after having our things pilfered and shredded, and Winnie stopped being a stick. It was very eventful. And after squashing them into fine dust and giblets, we returned back to the wizard, who took us on a trek where we saw a lot of weird stuff and were warned against people with rainbow-colored eyes being spies for the queen. This queen wasn't really talked up so much as she has been by others, by our wizard friend, who then sent us back, and we found ourselves at the exact moment of departure in the woods with the mushrooms, where Shakirsi came up and everyone was immediately suspicious, so she was dismissed. And then the headmistress came up and everyone was like, actually, let's go talk to Rosie instead. So we began making our way back to town. And that is where we will be picking up. Did I leave anything important out?
I just thought I healed everybody like 1,000,000 points and I wasn't even here.
Yes. Winnie absolutely saved the day with magical stick healing.
Thank you.
I don't know what that entails, but okay. I just know Ronan is paranoid about prism eyes now. He's literally checking everyone.
And I think we all noticed that all of our eyes are gray now.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And including Fables, whose eyes are normally various shades of vibrant.
Mm-hmm.
So the headmistress, Chanel Wildwalk, is leading you back. You return back to RoeFeld to see that it's still pretty early. People are still putting things together for the festival. Shakirsi is there, kind of absent-mindedly going back and forth and checking on some things. You see relatives of yours and neighbors. They're setting up big pumpkins and squashes. There are haystacks. There's what looks to be a kind of large effigy in the shape of corn to celebrate the harvest. All of this is fairly normal for those of you that have lived here for a while. Zephyrin, you may be looking at it kind of rubbernecking because this festival is huge. There are people from out of town that come in, vendors, and other folks that just want to see all of the festivities. And once you're back in town, Shinoa looks at you and says, well, you've made it safely, so maybe you could help with cooking that mushroom soup into stew.
Ronan again is squinting very much so at every adult he sees.
Actually, our hands are very dirty from picking all these mushrooms. I think that I need to go home and wash them.
Ronan holds up his paws, like, still squinting.
Well, if you would like to give me your baskets, I can take them to the cooks that will prepare the stew.
Of course, I think that you'll be very pleased with the selection that we found. We found equal of all of them and of similar shapes and sizes, and I think that they will be very pleased.
Ronan holds out his basket, puts it down, sort of backs away a bit. He hasn't handed over his golden mushroom. It is tucked in his little waistcoat.
Zephyrin holds his out. It looks like he tried to organize them a little bit, but there's some out of place here and there.
She'll take them all, and I imagine that Fable also hands hers over. This is a large Minotaurian lady, so she's able to collect all of the baskets fairly easily, and she strides off in the direction of one of the bakeries in town and leaves you to your devices.
Ronan watches her go the entire way, and then as soon as she sort of disappears, he's like, right, okay, well, the plan was to go and see Rosie, right?
Yeah, we were going to see Rosie first.
Okay. And you can see there's a bit of nervousness there. He's panicking, like, please don't have prism eyes, please don't have prism eyes. As he sort of he's like, okay, you should follow me. And he takes out his staff and starts doing a weird march that's incredibly awkward, but he does it anyway.
I mean, Winnie's gonna follow that awkward, weird march because that's probably the rules about how you get to Rosie's house. She doesn't know.
Zephyrin
Now
shrugs
the
and
rule. That's the rule now.
Zephyrin just sort of shrugs and starts mimicking. Also, just DM question: what time of day is it?
It's early afternoon, so
Okay,
probably
around.
like 1, maybe 2.
Okay. Just because so I think Zephyrin will kind of should he roll for something to know what time it is, or would he kind of have a good idea?
You probably have a pretty good idea. This
Okay.
isn't your first year alive. You can obviously,
Well done, you made it.
Woo!
I mean, he also almost died to pixies last episode, so
True. You can tell that based off of your kind of internal clock, it seems like more time should have passed because you went on a days-long adventure in the Feywild and came back, and it seems like not even a second passed from when your battle began with the wolves to when you reappeared. So the time feels kind of weird, but looking at where the sun is, and you can tell it's probably about 1 or 2.
okay. My dad might be finishing up his fishing today. If we want to talk to him next, I don't know if you had a plan for order, Whitney.
No, your dad sounds great.
Okay.
Ronan is still marching ahead, and and he sort of arrives, I'm assuming, what he thinks of as his home as well, and he does politely knock out of what's happened the last few days. Otherwise, he's not normally just walks in. It's like he goes to knock and it's like and opens the front door, and it's like, Rosie, I'm home, like, and sort of pops, like, starts again out of habit propping his staff up in what looks like a wicker basket leant up against the wall. He sort of brushes his feet on the mat on the way in to get rid of the mud, and immediately goes straight to the kitchen to wash his hands.
The rest of you following suit?
Winnie takes off her shoes and wipes them and, does polite things.
Yeah, I think Zephyrin would probably have, a habit of taking his shoes off from his parents too. Not as polite as Winnie, but he would at least do that much, and he'd, be awkwardly polite maybe.
You each take your shoes off and head into the kitchen. And what is Rosie normally doing around this time?
Rosie isn't actually in the house. She's in the blacksmith attached to the house, so you can hear that clang of hammer on metal, and it feels very warm in this house, particularly on one side of it where you can feel the heat radiating. The kitchen's very, very small. It's very much, it serves a purpose. There's an open fire. There is a small table with only 2 chairs. There don't seem to be any other chairs in this house. It's very basic. There's a lot of warm coats and blankets and lots of baskets and things that have been made everywhere, and a lot of stokes for the fire that have been made of metal, but they're very decorative. One of them is very wonky. You can probably guess Ronan has made that one. But yeah, she's probably in the blacksmith's, which there is a door into, but it is attached to the house.
The clanging doesn't stop as you come in, but you hear a vague noise from that side, and you can tell that she's heard you, but is probably in the middle of something. And you remember that she's also working to create her own projects for this festival that's going to be starting soon.
And she, Ronan sort of looks around. He's like, does anyone want a drink? We just made some cordial. And he's pulling this terracotta jug, I guess, off the side to heave it onto the table and put a couple of glasses down.
And we do have 10 retweets.
Do I get my sheep back?
So,
I don't want to be a sheep again.
Be a sheep or a goat?
Nope.
Gonna roll
I always
1d4.
wanted a goat.
Excellent. Zephyrin.
What?
Do I get my sheep?
Not quite.
Damn it.
sheep was 77. I remember that one.
I mean, I'll take a giraffe or something as well. Like,
Stop trying to turn me into animals.
why?
So you, as you go, and are you accepting a glass, or are you
Yeah.
Do you pass on the glass?
I think he'd accept. I may regret this, but yeah.
It's a big jug. He's like, it takes a while to. It's like leaning it rather than pouring it.
As you reach out for a glass, you notice that it's not a hand, but a tentacle that wraps around your glass.
It's fitting.
Wait. Is this just the hand, or have I got an octopus now?
It appears to just be the hand.
Ah, damn it.
You're still part kitty, part octopus.
Hang on, is it my hand?
Is
Oh
it like
no,
the
it's Zephyr's hand.
Oh,
Is
okay.
Is it just the hand or like the whole arm?
Are you going to roll up your sleeve to investigate?
Well, his sleeves. He has his sleeves rolled up like this. So.
All of the arm that you can see appears to be a tentacle.
Why is Zephyrin always turning into an animal?
Brandon is
Zephyrin
like
just-
sniffs
Zephyrin
the
just
cordial.
Zephyrin just kind of just freezes and he's just like just staring at his tentacle arm.
Ronan is like looking at it, making eye contact with Zephyrin, looking back at it, and continues to pour the cordial for everyone else, and doesn't say a word.
He whispers as quietly as he can. I think the Feywild is still. You think did we like something wrong when we left?
Did you touch anything?
No.
He sort of moves like the jug away from Zephyrin briefly.
Rosie's pretty good. She's seen a lot of things. She'll probably be able to help.
I hope so.
So I'm just watching Lydia struggle with the dog.
So much stuff.
So you each get a drink, perhaps not Zephyrin. And it's really good. It seems like it's healthily made. It's not like super sugary. It's not really intricate with undertones. It seems like a very well-made, yummy drink. And after a while, the clanging kind of pauses, and a door gets kicked open. It's a swinging door, and Rosie's voice comes back. "You coming to help?" And then it shuts again.
And he's like,
I'll be right back, guys.
and sort of quickly like hurries and opens the door, and I think there's like a wave of heat that comes out as he sort of then closes the door again. His hand comes out as this paw comes in, feels around the side of the wall, grabs a small apron, and then pulls it back in. He ties it around his waist.
You see Rosie hard at work, hammering out various... You can tell it's not her best work, but trinkets, probably to sell and to set up. There are a couple, looks like display stands that are probably used by the other vendors from the town. And everything's almost uncharacteristically messy in here, as you can tell that she is working very fast to get all of these things done.
Yeah, he starts moving stuff around that he would normally do the first sort of chores of the day. Things are clanking about as moving, as he's like heaving up some of the metal, running across each side of the workshop with it, putting it down, jumping up and down on the big bellows that keep the fire going. As he sort of does a jump, and then that as he like hangs on and falls down at the end.
And he's like, I hope you don't mind. I brought some friends over. We had a few, You've traveled a lot, right, Rosie?
Of course I've traveled a lot.
Yeah.
He suddenly remembers. He's like, "Can you look at me for a moment, please?" As he sort of like tries to look towards her eyes.
Brennan, I'm quite busy for something that you needed urgently. Did you get them something to drink?
And he runs around and puts like he's a little bit smaller than her now that he's shrunk again, but he puts like his arms around like her waist to try and look up at her eyes. Like, I just missed you. Like really try, like in the most awkward position, trying to look up.
She does the thing where you have a child.
That thing people think
Like when a child comes at you and you're just like, ah.
You're like,
And scruffles your head and says, I missed you too, but I'm quite busy.
and he sort of reaches up. No, but I missed your face, and I really want to try and look into the eyes. I don't want to see prisms.
Roll me either an athletics or a persuasion.
Okay, if I roll athletics, I just want to point out I'm not wrestling her to the ground.
Right, just
What was it? Sorry, an athletics or a
persuasion.
persuasion? I suck at both of these. Okay. 19.
As you kind of hang off the back of her neck, she relents and looks down at you with the eyes of like, you are being very strange, but they are her normal colored eyes.
Yes, and he sort of hangs there for a moment, squints, tips his head from side to side, completely lets go.
It's like, yeah, I got them drinks.
Well, it's good. And snacks?
Not yet. No, I should do. I heard you.
I bought you this, and he sort of pulls into his thing and holds up this golden mushroom.
She takes it. That's quite lovely. Where did you get it?
In the woods.
I didn't know they grew like this in the woods.
They don't.
Immediately suspicion of mushroom. Like,
Well, you know, I don't tend to go in the woods very often. It's more up the mountains.
Yeah. I didn't lick it or eat it or anything. You know, like you said, because I know some are dangerous and poisonous.
Do you want to cook it, or do you want to just sort of keep it as a trinket? I could
Well-
cast it if you'd like to keep it forever.
You could. It's more for you than for me.
She very carefully places it on a high shelf, which being a small lady is...
I
All right, so I'll cast some gold on it, and I'll be with your friends here in a moment.
Okay. Do you want to drink as well?
He's sort of doing that awkward shuffle backwards, taking off his apron, opening the door.
Oh, no, love, thank you, though.
Okay. The biscuits on the top shelf, right?
Right, unless they've been moved. And she gives you sort of a roguish wink.
Yeah, and he's like, he closes the door behind, and he sort of backs into the room, takes off his apron, walks over, gets a small step ladder, and starts to climb up to stand on the first level of the kitchen cabinets to reach up to this small terracotta pot, brings it down, walks backwards. He's done this before. And heads over to the table and puts the pot down in front of everyone. He's like, hang on. Any plates? She'll kill me if we don't use the plates. And sort of again walks over, gives you each this tiny saucer, which is probably only sized for a biscuit, and hands it out and pours himself a drink and awkwardly sits at the head of the table.
So she'll be through in a minute. And no prism eyes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, no, that's great. She may think something's up. But yeah, I think we'll be good.
And he sort of just gives a little bit of a smile. You can see his two little fangs sort of peek through.
And then we go to your dad, right, Zephyrin?
Yeah. We can do that.
Okay. And then
And he just starts tucking into his biscuit.
Zephyr makes sure to use his not tentacle hand to eat the biscuit.
As you're eating the biscuit, what kind of biscuits are they?
They're like these almost like oatmeal type biscuits. There is chunks of chocolate in it, but it's very sparing. It's
We're talking
very
about
sparing.
cookie biscuits.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, here we go again. This is like the torch thing all over again, Holly.
Fire on a stick.
Fire on a stick is not a torch. Ah, it's never ending.
We got breakfast,
It's like cookies. Unless it's a digestive biscuit. I'm not gonna go into this.
I hang around this channel enough that I know what she meant.
So as you eat the oatmeal cookie biscuits, Zephyrin, you feel kind of a dripping on your tentacle arm, and if you look down, you can see the tentacle bits just sort of sliding off, and your hand is underneath there, and your regular arm.
He'd probably do like one of those, like, ugh, God, it feels weird. You know, like the chills going over. He's like, oh, that was so weird. I don't know what happened, but I'm glad it's over.
Can you chuck it outside, please?
Oh, yeah. And
Just leave it on the carpet. She won't be happy with that.
that's a good point. And he'll grab it and, you know, kind of like run over to the door and throw it and like off to the side, just somewhere where somebody's not going to like banana peel it, you know?
Right. It's kind of rubbery and wet, and as it lands, there's that like splat as it lands sort of like spike down, if you think of a tentacle, like point down, you know, and it peels off as it lands in this beautiful rainbow prismatic peel and turns into a puddle and then dissipates.
I'm starting to not like rainbows much anymore right now.
Again, Ronan is just squinting at this. He sort of puts down his cup. So, it's that awkward silence because
Have we thought about what we're actually going to ask her? Or even tell? I mean, I can kind of tell her everything, so this is a really confusing one for me.
I just don't want to get in trouble.
Oh, you won't get in trouble with Rosie. She's fine. Unless you sneak out at night.
Let's
or
run
move
and
the
sits
cookie
back.
jar.
Let's run and sits back down. He's just going, I mean, we didn't go to the Feywild on purpose. It just happened.
Technically, we held hands and were in a line the whole time, so that means that we didn't break any rules, right? And we looked for an adult, and we found an adult.
Yeah, but it also means we spoke to strangers.
And think about that one.
Like, you can see the worry as he's like, how is Rosie going to interpret everything?
I think that while we were there, time was different because we spent a few days there, right? I'm not wrong. I was a stick, I think, so I don't know how stick days work. I don't know the clock they operate on, but...
I mean, we definitely slept in like a mushroom divot at one point, so...
Yeah,
And
the
the inn.
room hole, yes.
What if we just dreamed the whole thing? What if it's not even real? Because like we were here and then we were gone and then we were back at the same time. Like I've had dreams before where I thought they were real.
But
That
we're all in the same one.
Zephyrin at this point pulls out like that disc thing that he got after we killed the pixies, and he just kind of holds up. He's like, I don't think I'd still have this if it was a dream.
Well, I don't even know anymore. Fable's like defeated now. All of her brilliant ideas are not what they are supposed to be.
But the town thinks that we were only gone a few hours. There was no search party. So I guess we won't be in trouble. Maybe we don't have to explain that we were gone for so long and about the stick. We could just say that we think that we got very lost. and see if Rosie knows anything about that, if we just tell her a little bit about the place. And if she does know about the place, then she'll know about the time, right? You said she's an adult.
Oh yeah, she's an adult.
So if she's an adult and she knows about the time, then she'll know everything.
Rosie is pretty smart.
Like, and then again, he's just
Well, you don't have to tell them we were there for so many days because I don't want us to get in trouble, and also because they don't know. So it's just a little white lie. It's just a fib. I don't even know if it's a lie. I just don't want my parents to find out.
Fable's eyes get really big as she looks at Winnie and is like, Winnie's lying? Fable's now super excited and is like enthusiastically nodding along.
Oh no.
Winnie's straight CYA right now. She don't know.
You hear the clanging stop, and a woman, after a moment or two, bustles into the main area, and she's wearing her apron. She takes it off and hangs it up, washes her hands at the sink. She is small, about middle-aged, but looks very sturdy, not like a stay-at-home frail lady. You know, she looks like she gets out. She is tanned, and she takes her time washing her hands, and it looks like she needs that time she takes washing her hands, and approaches everyone at the table.
These are my friends. This is Ephraim.
Hi.
This is Winnie, and this is Fable.
I think I've seen most of you around here, not you so much. Are you new?
Yeah, I came here with my parents just a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, you're the sailor's boy, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. She kind of pointedly looks at Ronan, who's quite obviously sitting in her chair.
yeah, he sort of slides off the edge and just immediately sort of climbs onto the one next to it, which is not at the head of the table.
And she sits down with her own glass. Did he get you snacks?
Biscuits.
Yes.
They were good.
Good. So is this something you wanted to talk about?
And he sort of pauses. He's like,
Okay, now,
and he's very slow for a while. You can see him biting his bottom lip, and he drums like his little toe beans on the tables. And he's just,
we're not too sure. Well, how long have I been out picking mushrooms today, Rosie?
Well, I don't know exactly what time they sent you out from the school, but I know that you left a little late this morning. Probably, she checks out a window real fast. 3 hours tops.
glances around the rest of the table quickly.
What's the Feywild?
Feywild? What do you want to know about that?
Well, it just seems real interesting.
Feywild is a different plane of existence. Sort of like the elemental planes. They taught you about planes in school yet?
A little bit. Winnie would know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we haven't studied the Feywild yet. That's next year.
Right, well, if you'd like to know more, I mean, Shakirsi's honestly the best we have at teaching.
We can you just wander into the Feywild? You know, even if you're holding hands, like.
There have been tales that it's possible, but I've never done it personally. I don't.
And what does it mean if you do it?
Well, Maybe you were summoned there. Maybe magic brought you there. Could mean that there's a... And she gets narrowed eyes, shakes her head.
What?
Well, it's possible. There are stories, of course, I've not been there, of places where it's easier to travel between two planes.
And what like,
And he sort of leans forward a bit.
what are they like? Why would that happen?
Those places are off limits. They can be
Off
very scary, dangerous, not somewhere that you should be going.
Like we'd get in trouble if we went there.
Right. But big trouble. I'm not talking about falling into the river and seeing an alligator. I'm talking about real trouble. Feywild is beautiful in all the pictures I've seen, but it's also very dangerous.
Again, glances around the group.
So have you ever known anyone to go into the Feywild? Or disappear? Just disappear.
These are very specific questions.
Well, you know, people wander off places and don't come back.
Not... Our last turner did disappear. But we were told it was Wanderlust, moving on to the next city. It's the dancer, the main performer at the festivals. Gestures to Zephyrin for those that might not know what Shakirsi is this year. People move on, people disappear. It's a dangerous world.
Do eyes change color?
At this, she looks into you.
Yeah,
Into your
just,
soul.
like leans back a little bit, but
And she looks around at the rest of you. I think maybe you should just go off and enjoy the festival. I can look more into this. I'm letting you know that this dismissal is very not characteristic.
And he looks at her for a long time, and then back at the others.
We should go play outside.
Okay.
And he slides off his chair, and he walks to open the front door, holds it open for all of them, but he does not stop looking at Rosie.
And she will meet your gaze back, and she walks up to you and says, "Stay together and be very careful.
Okay,
Promise me.
we'll hold hands.
Don't leave."
And he does a slow nod, and as soon as the others are out, he closes the door.
And you hear as the door is closing, "I love you."
And he sort of rests his paw on the door briefly and starts to just walk away from the house.
So, my place next, I think. And Zephyrin looks visibly nervous.
I think we need to be very careful about who we're talking to. Rosie doesn't do that.
Do you think she knows? Do you think she's mad at us? Do you think she's gonna tell my parents?
I don't think she's mad. I don't know what she's doing. We should stay together.
You know, Rosie mentioned that there are places where it's easier to go back, and as much as I'd like to go back and meet the queen, I like to stay here for a minute, so maybe we should tie ourselves to a tree. We could and I know that holding hands works really well, but what if somebody lets go? Fable's now looking very paranoid.
Yeah.
And has pulled the rope out of the back of her backpack. And her hair is slowly getting bigger and standing straight up as she begins to tie a rope around her waist and look for a tree.
I don't know what's happening, but there's something that just feels wrong about this place. And I mean, I didn't know we could step into the Feywild until, well, I would have said 2 days ago, but apparently it was this morning. So
I didn't even know what the Feywild was. I'm not supposed to know what that is until next year. They don't teach that until next grade.
One of the older kids were talking about it, but I don't really know what it was. But what if the place we've stepped back into, RoeFeld, isn't our RoeFeld?
What?
I need a tree. Fable's going to
Let me just Doctor Who this stuff for you.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I think we need to but if we're not in RoeFeld, then we're not with our people, and my brother's not here, and how do we get... Fable's officially broken.
Wait, you said that Rosie didn't have rainbow prism eyes.
That's correct.
So she must be the real Rosie, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that how you tell? Isn't that how you know if they're an imposter?
I thought so. Plus,
What color are my eyes?
Takes you by the shoulders. This is his routine now as he takes you by the shoulders. He's like,
well, yours are grey. I'm assuming. Are mine grey? And again,
Holds.
I was instantly checks.
They're gray still.
Okay. Well, she looked at mine and didn't comment at all. And my eyes aren't normally this color.
Mm-mm. Mine are blue.
If people who go to the Feywild get rainbow eyes, why do we have gray ones?
Well,
because we're not inhabited by the queen. Does she inhabit you? What did they say?
Are we gonna turn into real life mushrooms where someone's inside of us?
Are people in mushrooms? They are too.
People are in mushrooms and sticks. We learned this.
You can see Ronan it's realization that Rosie might not be okay, or they're not okay. He doesn't know. He sort of squats down and starts to just draw circles in the dirt,
Winnie is finally losing it. She was sick.
Everyone roll me a perception check.
Fable also would like to start tying everybody to the tree. Not around we're all trapped, but we're all tied to each other and we're tethered to a tree.
I'm critically perceptive. Just would like to say.
I'm supposed to be.
So Fable is a bit busy trying to tie everyone up, but everyone else sees Rosie leave out the back door and headed in the direction of Lydia's house.
Winnie's house.
Winnie's house. I was looking at your name.
It's when you hear a knock at the door, Lydia,
It shows up at my door right now. I can't.
You open the door, there's a halfling lady.
And Winnie, you see that in her hand is a very old and battered book. It's old and battered. You can't tell what book it is, but she has it kind of tucked.
No, but who sees? Is it just Winnie or?
Just Winnie. Okay. Because she's critically perceptive.
Critically perceptive. Okay. Ronan, does Rosie have like a diary or a special book?
I mean, I don't think so. No, she doesn't do a lot of writing or reading, really.
You've never seen one?
I've seen a book.
Really old book? Like maybe something like a yearbook, even?
And he starts thinking, and there's probably some books in like their home, but I'm guessing not super old. Like
some of the older, I mean, everything in the home is well used, otherwise it gets thrown out. So there are some older books, but not super interesting ones, like map books, some that Rosie probably worked on a little bit while she was a bit more mobile and adventurous. There's a couple books that you've looked into that are parenting books, because Rosie didn't know how to parent.
raise your tabaxi child.
The sweetest thing.
And there's a lot of
expecting a tabaxi.
And there are a lot of kind of catalogs of different styles of armor and weapons, and different, like, how to make dwarven style things, how to make elven style, accoutrements.
Oh my god, it's the equivalent of knitting books.
Essentially, yeah. So nothing that's particularly Illuminati.
Yeah, like conspiracy. Like, no. Ronan sort of looks to Winnie, is like, no, where is she going? Like, and sort of he goes to move and then is pulled back by Fable's like rope, like but he sort of pauses, and when kids just lean, he's sort of leaning on the rope that's holding him there as he's sort of trying to look at where she's going. He said,
we should follow, right? It's okay, I'm super sneaky.
And he sort of looks, he's not moving anywhere because he's tied to a tree, but he's sort of like,
probably, I mean, we might learn something if we follow her, about what's going on with us and everything.
Well, I've never seen that book before, the one that Winnie spotted. You should have a look.
Fable looks longingly at the tree as she begins to slowly untie the rope around it and like kisses her hand and puts it on the tree. And it's like, okay, let's go. I'm sure there are other trees.
Okay, look, we're all still tied together. We can step where I step.
And I want to start like, I sort of get down onto all fours and do a little like shuffle to the ground.
Stealthy.
I mean, I'm gonna try.
You may attempt to.
Okay. Come on, roll 20, roll a stealth for me. Oh my gosh, I have +5 in this, and I got a 9.
Are the rest of you trying to be stealthy?
You're all stood upright and he's just like... He starts like putting green paint on it as he shuffles through the grass. Very obvious.
Zephyrin would try to be stealthy.
Okay.
My gosh.
That is with I have a +7 because of expertise.
Winnie will try to be stealthy if she sees everybody else try to be stealthy.
Winnie now aces it.
Stealthier than you are.
Everyone is stealthier than me.
Fable is so concerned about finding another tree to tie them to, and not like looking to see if like she can see where the Feywild is gonna suck them in, that she's probably not gonna be stealthy unless someone's like, Fable.
So as you're
I think I'm like the knight right now, and I'm not. So he thinks he's still sneaky, but you just see this tail.
As you're stealthing, Rosie looks back and makes eye contact with Ronan. And
he freezes, like, you know, the T-Rex, if I don't move, they can't see me kind of thing. He just freezes.
This
And
is
then
probably the
looks-
point where like Zephyrin like smacks into Ronan.
He does the... If he sort of notice... Would he notice Rosie staring right at him? Okay, then he does that, you know, pretend to look at something else, looks on the floor as he's crouched down, finds a rock. Oh, would you look at that? Like, you know, like trying to pick up the rock, like, I found it! And starts moving away.
And Zephyrin, as Ronan is picking up this rock, you do that thing where you kind of plow/barrel roll over someone, and as you eat it slightly, you feel rough hands pick you up and set you back upright, and you're looking at your dad.
Oh, hi, Dad.
Hello, son. What
Good.
are you doing? Looks at the rope.
I just offered the rock.
Fable would like to raise her hand and be like, can we and she like starts to offer the rope to him to like tie him to them.
I'm playing with my new friends, and he kind of gestures to each one. He's this is Winnie, and this is Ronan, and that's Fable.
Winnie would be like, "It's a pleasure to meet you."
Right.
And like curtsy.
If you curtsy, he won't. He kind of extends a hand and then turns it into a manly wave. You can tell that this man is probably not used to polite lady company, being more of the sailor type. All right, well, do they have you helping out with this? And gestures to all of the festivities being set up.
Oh yeah, we just gathered mushrooms out in the forest.
Okay.
Have you ever heard about anybody just kind of just disappearing into the Feywild and then like reappearing?
Well, he looks kind of alarmed, thoughtful, and says, "Not into the Feywild. My cousin disappeared when she was, can't have been more than 4, 5, maybe."
Zephyrin's eyes, like he tries to be subtle, but his eyes kind of go wide. What was your cousin's name again?
Oh God, I don't remember. Something sea sounding.
I'm sorry. What did he say?
Sea sounding.
It's coming from a sailor.
There's the Eladrin side of the family, you know.
Huh. Oh, okay.
She was just a little thing. Stormy, maybe. I don't remember. Tsunami, something. Parents were always a little off, more off after that, but losing a kid, I understand. But he pats you on the back roughly, but affectionately, as one does.
Okay. Well, thanks. Are you? Where are you off to?
Cutting up mushrooms. We're gonna make them into stew. I'm gonna throw some fish in there too. Just finished for the day.
I'm just seeing Fable shaking her head down there.
Is he still holding us?
No, he like picked up Zephyr
Okay.
and like stopped being on the
I
ground.
just see like the hanging there, like greetings.
Actually, I think Zephyrin's gonna take out the disc that he found. He's gonna show it to his dad. I found this out in the forest. Have you ever seen anything like this?
Takes it. Huh. What's it used for?
I don't know. It was just on the ground.
Never found anything like it.
Huh.
Hey, maybe you could sell it for something or turn it into a sinker.
That's an idea.
Well, have fun with your new friends. And he kind of tries to remember their names and just gives sort of an affable nod. And make sure that you're here for the festival. Don't wander too far. They say it's some grand production, you know.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'll see you later.
All right. And he starts walking off towards the bakery where they're making the stew.
Zephyr looks at the others, just goes, sorry, he's never been that great with names.
Mm-hmm.
That was our chance to tie ourselves to an adult, and I missed it.
You shouldn't tie yourself to a stranger.
But technically, he's not a stranger.
To you, he is.
I can't argue with that.
They're new to town.
But he's my dad. I mean, you know me.
I know you, but I guess I would just never tie myself to just an adult that I had just met, especially one that just moved to town. I learned that in safety class, specifically.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah.
Safety class. I should probably take safety class. Where do I sign up for safety class?
I just got certified to teach.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm ready. And like Fable is going to pull like a notepad and a pen out of her little backpack. And she's like now going to literally walk right behind you, like off to this, like almost shoulder to shoulder, but where she's behind you. And she's going to intently watch your every move and attempt to follow.
I cannot teach until I have my safety stash though. And it's at home. And I can't see my parents right now. I can't lie to them.
Okay. And Fable will dejectedly put her pen and paper back in her backpack.
And everyone roll me another perception. What do your eyes see? As you are speaking to each other, Ronan is dusting himself off, I'm sure, and doesn't notice.
That's always.
As usual, that before Zephyr's dad can get into the bakery, Lydia's parents and Rosie intercept and say something to him. He looks, you can't hear what they're saying, but he looks confused, looks over at Zephyrin, and Zephyrin, you're able to catch him make a gesture upriver, and then walks off with them in the direction of Fable's house.
I think would Zephyrin recognize Winnie's parents? I don't know if he's been around long enough to have at least probably like seen them, but maybe not know that they're Winnie's parents. I don't know.
How similar do you look to your parents, Winnie?
I probably look a lot like my mom.
I think Zephyrin would at least like try to subtly point to the group and get everyone else's attention over to them. Is, hey, Rosie's over there with a couple other people, and they're pointing upriver with my dad. What do you think they're talking about?
Oh no.
I
think when he starts just like hyperventilating.
Corinna's like, breathe.
Winnie, what's wrong? Are you okay?
Like if I had a paper bag, I would breathe into it.
Wait, so they all seem to be knowing that something's going on, but not us. What about Fable?
Do I notice that they're going in the direction of my house? Okay. Guys, that's, And Fable's not going to finish the sentence. She's just going to start walking like in the direction as everybody's going, because everybody's going to her house, and she needs to get there first.
Yeah, Rona's like, it starts to get probably dragged in the general direction for anything happening. He's like,
I mean, technically we could, we're tied in a long line. We could circle them and ask for answers.
It's like he's starting to get desperate because he doesn't know what to do anymore.
I need to talk to my brother before anybody else talks to my brother.
Are you going to do that whilst we're still attached to you?
Well, I don't want to go alone. Fable's
I'll come with you.
Well, we're all coming with you. We should stick together.
But if we untie the rope and one of us goes into the Feywild, we go in alone. And I don't think that that's safe at all.
Keep holding hands.
Hands and rope.
And rope. Hands and rope.
Are you sprinting off to your house, or is there somewhere else your brother would be right now?
I'm pretty sure that Fable would first go to the house, just because, like, if her brother's not there, her parents will know where he is. So he's his own being. He does what he wants to do when he wants to do it. So if he was anywhere but the house, he'd probably be at a library or something.
And are you trying to get there before the other adults do?
Yes. Do I know a faster way to go, since I've gone all the ways possible from my house to the school?
Yeah, you know, a more direct route, and they seem like the adults are not in a hurry. They're walking with purpose, but they are also conversing as they go.
I will take us the road quickest traveled if everybody will follow.
So
you can be the line leader. You know where you're going. I'll be second. No, actually, I want to be at the end. I don't feel well.
I've always wanted to be the line leader.
Rhoda sort of bends down and a little, because he's still taller probably than everyone, for we need to be piggybacked, just so that she can get up so we can run a bit faster.
you get to the house and you're able to walk in. You live there. And what is it that your parents do, Fable?
So they work as kind of the town historians, but mostly what their job is these days is going to be town crier-esque duties. So whereas they know a lot about the history of the town and they have access to that if it's needed, they do mostly perform telling people what's going on, and on occasion performance oriented on history kind of thing, like storytelling.
So you can see your mom sitting at the table and she's looking over a book that has past records in it for largest pumpkin and largest squash and things like that, and making some notations. And your dad seems to be editing something that's been written. You have seen him working on a speech to kick off the festivities, and they look up as you come in.
Hi. So where's Legend? Is Legend here? And she's starting to look in the pantry and under the table and in really weird places he wouldn't be, but she believes he is.
You do not find him, and your parents seem incredibly nonplussed that you've come in tied to random other children and are looking in cabinets for your brother. And your mom says, "Oh, I think he is out. I think he went to go cut some wood for the festival in the forest."
That's not a good idea. Where in the forest would he be?
Well, in the north of us part.
Is it far?
No, shouldn't be.
Okay. And Fable's gonna go out the door. guys. He's in the forest.
Oh no.
Is he holding anyone's hand or is he on his own?
I think he's by himself, and I don't think that he tied himself to a tree either. So, I'm only a lot concerned, but also he's my brother and he's really good at things. So like, he's okay. But we should talk. I think I tell my brother everything, and if I tell my brother everything and he knows everything, then obviously he's gonna know everything we need him to know, right?
So,
but he's in the forest.
Do we go and get him? Do we talk to your parents? Which one do we do?
Well, we don't talk to my parents. they're cool, but I let my brother talk to my parents. Like, I tell my brother, and then my brother handles that. Like, they're nice, but I don't know what they're gonna say about this. So, but do y'all want to go back in the forest?
I think Winnie's like hyperventilating into a paper bag again. It's like she's not doing well.
Well, hang on. Shouldn't we find out what they're at least talking about, and then maybe we can even be prepared for when we go find your brother?
We could go sit in my room and listen through the door.
We could do that.
Do you want to do that?
I think we should do that.
We're gonna do that. Fable, we'll turn right back around. I don't even know if she shut the door to the house. And she's gonna go straight back in and be like, "Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. I'm going to my room now with my friends."
Hi, Fable's mom and dad. And he's walking along with like Winnie on his back.
I'm hyperventilating, but I still curtsy.
Yeah, I'm just she's okay. So guiding her into the room.
All right, dear, don't catch it on fire this time.
Fable's gonna actually pause. Is there a snack on the counter?
I imagine it's like it's a pudding.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back. I'm gonna grab the whole thing and go to my room.
And you go up. Fable, what's your room look like?
So it is very much like just kind of if it didn't have all of Fable's random things in it, it would be a very plain room, like nothing like spectacularly colorful or anything like that, except for the fact that she's colored on all the walls with crayons, which is totally okay. And it looks decent. Not only that, but like there's like she's written her own little stories about like her little morning adventures, like along the lines of like the artwork on her walls. And then also she has like little tokens from all her adventures. So like you'll see like a stick and a twig and maybe like a feather, like very like random eccentric things. And it's all primarily on one of the walls. And then the rest of the room is fairly clean. There's a lot of books in it as well because she does like to read. And then of course she has like a place in her room where she can put her instruments and things like that. And then like a little desk where you can tell like she strings her instruments. That is her room.
Sounds on brand.
It is. It has a personality. And you're able to get up there. They don't ask you any questions. And are we closing the door and listening, or are we leaving it open and listening?
So her door doesn't quite go all the way to the ground because she likes to listen to things. So a long time ago, she fixed that. Her brother helped with that one. So if we do shut the door, if we lay on the ground on our back with our ear against the crack, sometimes you can hear what's going on. So she'll probably originally shut the door, and if people want to open it, they can. But she's got a game plan.
So you shut the door and pretty easily can hear the door downstairs. There's a knock and it opens and you hear your parents' pleasantries and they start off talking about really boring stuff, like, oh, how's the festival? You hear Rosie's voice. Zephyrin, you hear your dad. And Lydia, you can hear your parents as well as they talk about, why are you eating that tube of wrapping paper? They're not talking about that. That's what my cat is doing.
Her whole family is just crazy.
Just saying they're eating the wrapping paper.
Fable took all the snacks.
Would you stop? We are in company.
We don't have pudding. We have to eat the wrapping paper.
Sorry, Mom.
And so they start off talking about the preparations for the festival, and you hear something hit a table, and it sounds like a very heavy book. And Rosie's voice, almost too quiet to hear, says, "You don't know what this is." And you hear Shakirsi's voice say, "Right, we've got to talk about old RoeFeld." And that, I believe, is where we'll take our break. So, everyone stand up, do some stretches, pet your kitties, and take the wrapping paper away from them, and we will see you back in about 5-ish minutes.
And
Yes, them too.
Oh, hi and welcome back. We were talking about cookies during the break. What's your favorite cookie? Tell us now. We stopped off with everybody eavesdropping on adults downstairs, and they mentioned something called Old RoeFeld. So Shakirsi says, forgot to talk about Old RoeFeld. And there's a very heavy pause. And you hear Lydia's mom say, Winnie's mom. So why Zoom needs to have the names.
I'm sorry, I'll change it. I'm sorry. That's my fault.
Losing my mind. Winnie's mom say, can't we talk about this after the festival? And Rosie says, this is just gonna be me playing with myself for a minute. I apologize. No, we can't. Ronan came home and something's not right with his eyes. We have to talk about it now. And again, there's a very loud silence and a shuffling and some books moving. And Fable's dad's voice says, probably shouldn't talk here. The kids are here. And
So tempting to, no, we're not. You know, when kids go, no, we won't. I do not do that. I just want to stress.
And there's another pause. Kids, we're going out. And the adults, you hear the door open and footsteps leaving the house. And the door closes.
What a coincidence. We are too.
And can Ronan immediately run to the window just to, like, you know how cats press themselves up against windows? Can I do that to check that they did actually leave and it wasn't those fake footsteps when they pretend to leave a room?
Yes, they are actually leaving. Oh my god. Cats are destroying my house. You see Rosie and Shakirsi in the front, and she's bent down talking to Rosie, and the others are following behind. Fable's dad is talking to Zephyryn's dad, who seems really confused. And they go off in the direction of the schoolhouse.
Now
Think
what?
we should follow him? I mean, what's this old RoeFeld?
I don't know, but I don't like the sound of it.
We haven't learned about that in school. We've only learned about the history of RoeFeld. This RoeFeld. Normal RoeFeld.
But Ronan, Rosie said that your eyes are different, so I mean, I think this is our RoeFeld?
My eyes are gray now.
Yeah, but that's why she said that something's wrong with your eyes.
They're not
maybe?
rainbow.
Hold on just a second. And Fable's gonna untie herself because she's in her home. You can't go into the Feywild in your own home. That would be silly. So she's gonna
Sound logic.
she's gonna untie herself and run downstairs really fast. Are there any books out of place that were not out of place before?
The book that your mom was reading is put back where it was. You don't see that they have taken anything out or shuffled anything around.
And the book that we heard sat down on the counter is no longer there?
Correct.
Fable will go back up the stairs. Fable would like to go into her brother's room and see if there's anything on the Feywild in her brother's room.
Make an investigation, and anyone else who's joining.
I think Ronan will have a dig around.
Yeah.
Oh, -1 investigation here. Oh, now you roll well, Alice. I trip over it.
Ooh, I'm
Get
investigatory.
Wow, I get really distracted about something.
So, as you go in, Fable, you're like, all right, we have to find something about the Feywild. And then you just remember that your brother is somewhere in the woods. His axe is missing. His armor's not there. It starts getting kind of sad. So you don't end up being overly effective in looking for things. The rest of you're able to find a book on the Feywild. It seems like a history textbook that hasn't been used in a while, since Fable's brother is older. He probably used it in school in your next year. You see another book that has creatures of the Feywild, more of a biology than a history book. And you are able to find a collection of pictures he's drawn. Legend isn't one that's amazingly artistically oriented, but he does doodle a bit. That is what you're able to find, along with a lot of dirty socks.
I think Ronan picks up the book and is holding it at Winnie, like, this, look, because he just does not do books. He doesn't know how to do books. He knows Winnie does books.
Winnie takes that book.
Is it the history book, the art book, or the bestiary?
The history one is the first one he goes for because he keeps hearing about it.
She'll read the book, or like flip through it, like through the index to see if there's anything like pertaining to the Feywild or anything that would be helpful, like in the, it's called the index, right?
Mm-hmm. The table of contents or whatever.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, so you skim through it and it starts off talking about the differences in, what's a plane and what is a world and what is a realm, and goes down into races known from the Feywild, talks about elvish heritage, the designs, the rituals, that sort of thing, the culture of the Feywild, some known locations within it.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing that jumps out at you is like legends. It's more of a historical, this is what the Feywild is, more or less. It is a different plane in which, it's very dry.
So like things that we could have already deduced.
Mostly there are some new information, some new bits of information you might not have known, like, elves coming from the Feywild, some of the cultural design and holidays and things like that. And some, like, you do see pictures of giant mushrooms as an example of the twisted forests. You see a candy forest in there. And
I did not see that one. I remembered that.
And
what
a
about
couple pictures
of portals?
Portals? There doesn't seem to be an instruction manual for going to or from or any sort of locations. You can see at one point you see a circle drawn, and there are some runes in there, and underneath says an example of a teleportation circle, and it looks very familiar to the circle that was used to get you back.
I think she has her backpack with her, like her school bag, right? I would take out a piece of paper and like lay it over that part of the book and then trace the teleportation circle, like just what it looks like, and just keep it with me, because if you need to get home, this is how.
Did you say there was a book on like beasts and things like that as well? Yeah, Ronan's probably sort of sat down on the floor, gangly legs crossed, and started flicking through it to see if there's anything in it.
Have you ever seen the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them? It is very similar to that kind of book. There are lots of pictures, some notations of habitat and diet and temperament.
Sorry.
You see some of the things that you've seen. You see the trees with the beaks and the worm in it. There's a worm outside too, and sort of indicates the parasitic giving and taking relationship. You see the blank dogs that you'd seen before. You see these dark cats with tentacles and very murderous looking dark eyes. You see
Checks for Hildy.
Don't listen, baby.
No, I'm worried it is her.
You see very big frogs with holes in their backs, and you see a couple other things that are just that you can't really make out what they're supposed to be anatomically, similar to the moose donut, where you're like, there's no openings on this critter. Lots of things have wings, lots of things are very colorful as you're flipping through.
Yeah, he's literally just going through all of them, and if anyone's watching his face, it's like, like it's like expressions for each one as he goes through them.
I don't remember, were there any other books that'd be relevant to what we're looking for?
There was one that had Legends artwork.
I guess Zephyrin would flip through that one a little bit.
There are so many swords and armor sets, but not great drawn, just like very spiky. Can you imagine what a teenage boy in a fantasy setting wants his armor to look like? It's a lot of that. And roll me an investigation. Okay. As you're flipping through and you see a lot of like beat up pictures like hero and that sort of thing, you also see one that seems to be a very close-up picture drawn of someone's face, and the eyes have just been penciled in gray, and there is a line coming up off of their head.
And Zephyrin just kind of turns the book around and holds it up for everyone to see it.
Does Fable recognize the face?
You do not recognize the face, but you do remember when you had the dream, your brother telling you, don't be like them, and it looks frightfully similar to the people he was telling you to not be like.
He colored in the eyes. Do you think that means gray eyes like we have?
Fable's gonna go. So there is a small corner of Legend's room, on the wall where Fable, like, if Legend isn't there, will write little notes or like questions and stuff because she has an insatiable curiosity that is insanely impatient. And she's gonna go right on the wall. This is gonna sound really bad grammar wise, but she's a child. Who are them? ? Underline, and then old RoeFeld ? And like usually like he'll like look at those and like get back to her.
He's a busy guy. He's off taking care of. You know how it goes.
You can't really have an 8-year-old following you around everywhere when you're a teenage mom. So, guys, do you remember when we slept in the mushroom? I had a really weird dream in the mushroom.
What kind of dream?
Well, I wrote it down. I was standing and like my brother was there and there were these people and he told me not to be like them. But I didn't know what it meant, and that's one of them. That's one of the people I'm not supposed to be like.
This one here.
And sort of leans over and points in the book.
Yeah. But it was a dream, so it's not... It was a dream. But I'm not supposed to... But they have great eyes. And now I'm very confused, and I think we should go talk to my brother.
And like, Vern is now holding the book up and looking at Fable, like trying to see a similarity, and he's like,
maybe does your brother know a lot about this sort of stuff?
I don't know. We've never talked about it, but I don't know. I've only ever talked to about it in dreams, and I didn't think dreams were real life, but now I'm really questioning that.
Well, I mean, you said they had like light coming out of something coming out of their heads?
Yeah.
Well, we don't have that. So
Does it look like the light coming out of the when we portaled? Can't English.
It looks almost like a very thick ribbon coming out.
Okay.
So it doesn't look like
that's got Lydia.
It's not like fully enveloping the person and shooting out. It just looks like a ribbon is floating kind of out of the top of their skull. Well, their head. They have like flesh and stuff, but you know.
I know that my brother knows everything. So maybe he'll know what to do.
So, are we gonna go find your brother, or are we following the parents?
I mean, I think the adults kind of know that we're sneaking around, so maybe we should go find Fable's brother.
I think we should find her brother too, and then maybe if we get answers and then we approach the adults and we approach them with information, then that they would like that. They like kids that have studied and done their homework, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think that'd be the best thing to do.
Let's just do some research, but your brother's in the forest.
Yeah. Would Fable know where he usually goes to cut wood?
He doesn't normally cut wood.
Oh yeah. Why is he cutting wood?
He took an axe. What's he cutting?
But you do remember that some of the townsfolk did go off to cut some wood to help with the festival. They have fires, at night and that sort of thing.
Okay. Here we go. Are y'all ready?
We need to hold hands and be very careful.
Fable will reattach herself to everybody.
Yeah.
Via the rope.
At first I thought this rope was a silly idea, but it's a good idea.
Thank you. I was really want to get accepted into safety class.
And like Ronan pats Fable like, you did good, Fable. Like, it's just a little pat, like genuine proud of his friend.
I wish I had my safety vest.
We could stop and go get it. I don't mind starting training early.
Are we all supposed to have a safety vest?
Just me, because I can teach safety class now. I was certified.
We should all take safety class.
If we survive this, we will.
You really should take safety class.
Everyone roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh no.
I don't want the vest.
I don't wanna.
Alice, finally, thank you.
Oh no.
Oh, I better be getting my sheep.
As you speak about this vest, hear a very loud bang from outside, which absolutely terrifies the MacGuffins out of Winnie.
I would like to scream.
Hyperventilate into my bag again.
As the festival officially begins and a firework is shot up into the air and explodes.
Okay, hang on. Wait. So, if the festival's beginning, then surely he's left the forest to come back here with the wood chop that he chopped wood.
If he could.
If he could.
This game.
How much wood could a bro chop?
Bro chop with a bro took an axe and he doesn't totally chop
Well, if he could chop wood and he did chop wood, then he should have chopped wood and took it to the place where the chopped wood does go.
Where are they keeping the chopped wood?
Well, I assume by the fires, but I don't know.
I don't think we're supposed to go near fires.
No,
We've
Like-
done
that
a
is
lot of.
definitely a topic that we will cover in safety class.
Well, maybe we should head into town and see if we can find him there then. If he's, if this festival's starting and we think he might be done gathering the wood.
And keep an eye out for the parents.
Mm-hmm.
That too.
Do you have any
case.
sunglasses?
Please, gonna just whip out a pair. Blues Brothers hit. It's dark in the woods.
I think I was actually just thinking of that earlier in the week, that like we'd all get sunglasses and walk around like the Blues
I'm
Children.
on a mission from God.
Sunglasses.
I'm on a mission.
I put my sunglasses in the upper damn room. I'm on a mission from the Feywild.
I don't know if sunglasses have been invented, but I feel like if they have been, legend has some.
Well, surely legend would have.
Legend, he invented them.
They're
I feel like-
Ray-Bans as well. They're like classic Ray-Ban style. Oh.
Oh.
Can hear the general sounds picking up from outside as people seem to be leaving their houses to join in this festival. And they are flooding into the town square, the center of town. There are fires that are being lit, even though the sun isn't quite down yet. It's probably still about 4-ish. They're getting some things going. There are some scales that have been set up to weigh the giant produce, and people seem to be buying stuff and generally speaking to each other, congregating.
I think Ronan's still trying to be stealthy. Whether he knows he's being it or not, I don't know, but he's trying to be subtle at least and keep an eye out.
Are you trying to avoid anyone in particular?
He doesn't mind being seen by the parents, but he doesn't want to know that he's looking, like keeping an eye on them, if you see what I mean.
Okay. Roll me a stealth and a perception. And anyone else who is looking for anyone can also roll perception.
Okay, stealth. That's not too bad. Perception. I cannot see through the sunglasses. It's too dark out here.
Just because they were made doesn't mean they were made well.
Painted over them because it's
Yeah.
not proper sunglasses.
It's actually just metal painted black.
Absolutely. And Ronan, as you're sort of blundering around, you remember you actually made the metal for these?
I try to play it cool, like he's walking like with stealth and then just walks into a parent or something. Oh.
And Fable, who are you looking for?
My brother.
Your brother? You see him working with some other adultier males, strapping fellas on a fire, and a bunch of strapping
They're strapping fellows to a fire.
This is the Wicker Man. I saw the Wicker thing at the beginning.
The buff people of the world are creating a fire with the
All
wood.
the buff people of the
All
world.
the buff-
by the
Not
fire.
just the town.
To the
They're
fire.
It's not a festival about human sacrifice.
Not so far as you can see.
That
We
is
haven't
not
found out what happened to old RoeFeld yet.
Or Zephyr's second cousin.
Yeah, like poor old Tsunami hasn't been seen in a long time. Okay, I'll shut up now. I'm sorry.
Is anyone else looking for anything in particular? Or anyone in particular?
I think Zephyr's just well, for one, he doesn't know what legend looks like, most likely, or not that he's aware. And for another, I think he's just overwhelmed at the festival, and he's getting distracted by all the booths and the sights and everything.
It is definitely distracting. There's a raised stage where you can see the Turner, Shakirsi, is performing this crazy intricate dance, and you can tell there's some magic that's being cast at the same time as she goes across this stage. A bunch of people are watching her. There are vendors hawking their wares as you're walking around, and you may buy things if you wish, and it will take literally no time. They are ready to sell and ready to buy stuff if you have it to trade. And there are things being lit on fire. There's giant vegetables. There are just all the sort of things you would associate with a summer to fall festival going on. There's face painting. There's people casting minor illusion on other people's faces, as well as the face painting.
Is there? So Zephyr's definitely, he's gonna kind of subtly slip away really quickly to do a few booths that he sees, and then come back really quick. And does he see anybody that looks like just grumpy or miserly, or somebody that that's just kind of being nasty?
Roll me an insight.
Have you untied yourself?
Just being trailed around. Everyone seems to be in pretty good spirits that you can see. Some people, they're not as enthusiastic about it, but for the most part, it seems like everyone is really happy that the summer season is changing to the fall, and there's this big festival going on. There are oohs and ahs.
Okay.
Okay. Do you approach Legend?
Fable would like to. She's also attached to other individuals and thus needs their approval.
I mean, you're the line leader.
Yeah, you're the line leader. Also, I'd like to ditch the sunglasses, please.
Are you keeping them, or are you
I'm keeping them. He still thinks he looks cool in them, but right
Gonna
now
make
he
them
feels he just
picture.
needs to be,
Gotta save him for one-liners.
yeah,
Okay.
just to flick them out every now and then.
All right, you may add useless metal sunglasses to your inventory.
Yes.
I will. Love my useless metal sunglasses.
You are able to walk up to Legend. He sees you and gives you a kind of stay away, since he's working very closely with fire, and dusts off his hands and lumbers up to you. Fable!
Legend! And Fable's gonna run in and he's going for a hug, but actually jumps in with their secret handshake.
And he does it right back. It's probably a very kid handshake, but also very needlessly complicated.
It goes on for at least 2 minutes.
Zephyr's a little impressed.
So there's a lot of things I have to tell you, and I don't I have a lot of questions. Who are them? What is old RoeFeld? Are people mushrooms? Can people be sticks too? Is it bad if you eat mushrooms? Because if they're people, then that's probably bad, right? And then also, Feywild?
Yeah, all right. Hang on. And he
All these strapping guys around him, like.
he goes and says something to one of the other guys and kind of gives him that pat and walks back. All right, let's get some stew. We could talk on the way.
But the stew has mushrooms in it, and if people are mushrooms, I don't want to eat the stew.
Oh, no, it's for offering.
Okay. Guys, you want to get stew?
Sure.
We're just moving bowls. So, who's them?
Yeah, so I had a dream in a mushroom, and you told me not to be like them, and they were like, and she's gonna describe like the dream, and then like you told me not to be like them, and then them was in your art journal. I went in your room. I'm not sorry, but I saw your journal. You did art of spikes and stuff, but also it has them in it. Who's them?
Roll me an insight.
Oh no. Here I come, world. Oh wait, I gotta get to my thing. That's a thing. Insight, here I come. Okay.
Oh wait, actually, I can roll this.
Is my brother gonna lie to me? It's not what our love is built on.
He listens and says, so this is all just a dream that you had about mushroom people and sticks and...
No. No. The dream part was you telling me not to be like them. I really did sleep in a mushroom, and people are mushrooms and sticks. And I think that we were in the Feywild, and I don't know how we got there, but we got back and we held hands the whole time. So don't tell mom and dad we weren't safe. That's not why I'm telling you this story.
And he hands you a bowl of mushroom soup and starts handing them out as you've been walking to the bakery. And the bowls are very intricately carved along the edges. The stew smells good, but weird. All right, careful not to spill. All right, so you fell asleep in a mushroom after you met a person in a mushroom. People aren't well, do you know what dryads are?
Fable just gets really concerned.
So dryads are like people, but they're like trees. They're like, they come out of trees, but they're kind of made of wood, but they're also kind of people.
Fable is slowly gonna turn to Winnie wide-eyed and then back to Legend.
So I guess maybe there could be mushroom dryads. Yeah, mushroom dryads.
Okay. Do you know anything about old RoeFeld?
No.
Why not? You know everything.
I haven't studied it. I imagine it's a RoeFeld that used to be here. Maybe it burned down, or,
So it's like happened. A grandpa RoeFeld? Like... Right. How do I learn about that?
Did you ask mom or dad?
Well, no. Can you ask them? I went on an adventure and I didn't tell them, but I didn't mean to. It just kind of happened, and I don't want to get in trouble because Winnie doesn't want to get in trouble because Winnie says we broke rules, but I thought that we followed all the rules. I found an adult. That counts, right? And I'm back.
He looks very disbelieving that you followed all the rules.
Okay, fine. I followed most of the rules, but I am safe and I held hands.
Well, I guess I could ask him about it, but is old RoeFeld in the Feywild or something?
I don't know. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
All right, and he leads you to the edge of the forest, and if you could just everybody put a bowl a couple feet along the way, it's a spirit offering.
Like Ronan very delicately, like he does it with 2 hands, like he's very carefully. He's not too sure what to do. He's always just told to be polite by Rosie, so he's like, thank you, like does a little like bob bow and sort of backs away.
So, are you sure you didn't just dream all of this?
Yeah, no, I'm positive. And she's gonna pull out, she has the stick that has the bow on it that she's probably briefly mentioned in her ramblings. She also has anything that she has that was from the Feywild, like the piece of paper currency that was unknown. And she's gonna pull out, what do I have crowns written on there? The tooth from the dog, like anything that she can pull out that she has from her adventure, she's gonna pull it out and be like this, like I know. And then look at my eyes. And she's gonna like open them really wide and like look dead in his eyeballs.
Zephyr would pull out the disc that he found too to add to that.
He looks at Fable's eyes. Is something wrong? Are you sad?
Legend, you know my eyes turn purple when I'm sad.
Well, yeah, but I don't know, like puberty happens and stuff.
What's puberty?
No, let's not talk about that.
Flush is red.
It's when you
Listen, I just want you to believe I went to the Feywild. I don't want to talk about your friend puberty.
All right, I don't either. Okay, so you went to the Feywild. I've never been there, Fable. I've only been here. I can tell you what I know from studying it, but you probably have to use a spell to get there and back. Plane shift. Wizards know it. I don't know anybody else that does.
Do you know it? Can
No.
you learn it?
Do you want to go back? It sounds like...
Well, I mean, there's a person there that might need to come back here, and like a queen that's, I don't know if they're nice or not. That's another story for another time. I just need to know how to figure out what's going on and how to get my eyes back to normal, because this is not my color.
Right. Much better with that green that sometimes comes. Look, I can talk to mom and dad about it. It's kind of above my pay grade, you know?
I don't pay you.
An expression. I'll see what I can find out, but don't worry. It'll be okay.
Okay. Well, bye. And Fable's gonna kind of like do her. She never really quite is good at saying goodbye. She just kind of leaves most of the time. And like kind of
Wait.
What?
Come here.
Okay. And she like walks up.
And he gives you a hug, which is probably not how you normally say goodbye. And he says, you're my sister and stuff. So, just don't, be careful.
Okay. Thanks, bro. And she's gonna she'll hug him back, but like, this is really sentimental. And why are people acting weird? Can I roll it? Is she just concerned? Can I roll insight on that? Like, Is he being sneaky, or is he just like being weird? Like, 'cause both are viable.
Yeah, roll me some insight.
Oh, cheese and crackers.
Okay. He's definitely being weird. You've never really had this. He's not one to be like, I love you, but essentially that seems like what he's trying to say. And in his older guy kind of way. And he seems super awkward about it. And as you look at him kind of, you notice that his eyes go to the top of your head before coming back down. And he turns to return back to the festival.
Guys, is there something coming out of my head?
Ronan takes you by the shoulders. Can I please check if there's anything on top of Fable's head? And he sort of does that thing where he pats on the top of your head and then does that, you know, to check there's no like invisible line there kind of thing. He's like, no, you're good.
Zephyrin kind of checks his own head and then maybe like kind of over Winnie's head.
We don't hug. I don't know what to do.
I want to find out what the parents are talking about because this is getting too weird.
Okay. Let's go.
And can I try and stealth? Do I have advantage? I do.
I think before the group goes, like kind of Zephyrin to tug on the rope that's holding him together and just kind of go, hey, before we go, I wanted to here, and he kind of starts digging in his bag and he takes out a few things and he hands Ronan Holly, do we decide what Zephyrin found, whether it was like the stuffed thing or like a charm?
A stuffed.
Okay, so Zephyrin hands Ronan a stuffed sheep. He hands Fable a book of poems and songs, and then he goes over to Winnie and hands her like a leather-bound journal, maybe like a nice like embroidery on it, maybe like flowers or something, and he just says, I wanted to get you guys something because I realized, I had friends back in Baron's Wake, but I being with you guys, I realized that maybe we weren't such friends because I didn't really feel like we were, like we really had each other's backs. But I do feel that with you guys, and I think that this is maybe the first time I've had real friends. So, here.
And Ronan looks at him and then looks at this sheep and he looks so happy, like he sits there for a moment and just plays with like the top tuft on top of the sheep's head. And he's like, thank you, and he just sort of gives you like a really big hug. It's pretty like quick, but it's a big like tight hug, and then he goes back to admiring the sheep.
And I've posted those items in the chat for y'all.
Fable's gonna smile really, really, really big. And can I do bardic inspiration outside of battle? Can I do that whenever I want? Can I live my best life?
Yeah, live it.
Bard it up. God.
She's gonna. Yes, exactly. No, but she's going to recite one of the poems in the book and do bardic inspiration for Zephyrin. And if I could think on the spot that quickly today, I would write you one, but that may not be a today thing.
Roses are sheep. Violets are sheep.
I know for a fact that's not true.
How do you know? You don't know about the Feywild. Moose are donuts. Those are donuts.
So good.
So are we heading to the schoolhouse where we saw the parents going?
Mhm.
Stealthily?
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean- I'm gonna really try.
All right, roll me up some stealtherinos.
I would like to use advantage, please.
Okay.
There we go.
Thank
Finally.
God.
Okay. And everyone also roll me a perception check or arcana.
Ooh.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I'm so arcana'd. I should. I'm useless. I'm sorry.
So, Winnie and Fable, as you go to turn, you see something by the bowls of soup, and with a double take, they're sort of spectral, but you see creatures coming out of the woods that look like some of the creatures that were in the bestiary for the Fey creatures. You see the blink dogs that you saw before, and a gaggle of blink puppies, and some of the big cats and other critters coming to eat the stew.
Is my blink dog there?
Mhm.
Hunter's there? That's so nice.
That, like, does anybody in the town see them?
Some people seem to be looking that way, but there doesn't seem to be a big to-do about it. And you are all able to be pretty sneaky as you disengage yourself from the party, from the festival, and wend your way to the schoolhouse.
I think Ronan's gonna try like get below a window. Like, is it a schoolhouse that is like one room and you could listen in, or are there multiple ones where we'd have to find out what room they're in?
There are multiple ones. There are windows, they are shut.
Can I see them in through any of the windows, or they?
So you look in the first one and there's no one there. And you go to the second one, it's empty too. And when you reach the third one, you hear something thump against the wall.
He presses his very large ear up against the wall to try and just like listen a bit more.
Perception?
Okay, I am going to use another advantage. I think that is all of them then, yes. Ah, of course.
Okay. So you hear this thump, and the rest of you see Ronan pressing the cat bat ear up there. And you can hear some voices. You can't pick out what they're saying, but you hear words pretty distinctly from Zephyr's dad, which is, he seems to be closest to the wall, and he says, "You haven't taught them about that yet?" And then you hear a response, "Well, they should know."
And like Ronan is completely pressed up against this wall to like try and listen. It looks probably ridiculous if anyone walks around the corner. But he looks to the others, he's like,
They're all in here. Apparently we should have learned something on the curriculum by now. I don't know if you know what that is, Winnie, but apparently they haven't taught it to us yet.
And the discussion continues, and you hear him say, "If it has to be done, of course I can take you, but I don't like it."
and again, Ronan turns back and relays what's just been said. He's like,
This doesn't sound great. they gotta do something, but they don't want to. It's your dad, Zephyrin.
Huh.
Should we go inside?
Can't just walk in. You saw them move last time.
I mean, they might just, they'll probably just, yell at us and maybe just sneak off somewhere else to continue the conversation.
What if there's a distraction and some of us can get in and hide and listen?
We can try that. I'm usually pretty good at hiding. I can try to hide in there.
I've been told I'm a distraction a lot, so I think that I would be good at that.
Okay.
And he sort of nods, like seeing like, haha, plan comes together.
He's like, whoa, wait. So who's gonna be distracting? Who's gonna be sneaking and listening?
I can't do any of this. It's dishonest.
I don't think we. Why don't you stay here and keep watch?
Oh! Fable is gonna walk up to Ronan and like, you're taller than me. So like, she wants to whisper in Ronan's ear.
He's
and
just
so she's like,
down.
she'll whisper up in Ronan's ear, I'll go break a bunch of rules and then Winnie will be the distraction.
And like he just looks at Fable, looks at Winnie and smiles, and then looks back at Fable. He's like,
That'd be pretty good. And then no
Hey.
one's lying.
And Fable at that will look at Winnie and go, hey Winnie, I'm gonna go play with fire, and like run to the front of the schoolhouse.
Winnie hyperventilates and for the 8th time this episode. I would chase her.
if that happens, then Rona's gonna go to the school door, and he's gonna look at Zephyr and he's like,
Be ready. I'm gonna make a scene.
Okay. And Zephyrin gets ready for whatever is gonna happen.
As y'all are standing there, you just hear Fable screaming, I don't need an adult anymore.
I think Ronan kicks down the door, like he literally puts his foot, maybe not through the door, but like to really throw it open, where all the adults are in the church, and in the school. It's just like, oh, and falls on the floor in front of them.
So you walk up to the door into the school. Are you kicking
Oh wait, are
that
they
open, or
in
are you
this
opening?
room, or have I just fainted in a room with no one in it?
So there's the school building, and then
Okay.
within that there's rooms, and you've been listening to the wall outside, looking in the window. So are you going into the school and then kicking down their room's door, or are you kicking down the school door?
I'm first of all, I'm going to just open the school door to get in, usher Zephyrin in.
Okay, do you have thieves' tools as it is locked?
I have thieves' tools.
Ah, well, there you go. I have a pet mouse. Hang on.
Of course, don't you remember Chippy?
Yeah, but I feel this is very counterproductive of me. I think Ronan tries and then is like picking his pockets. He's like, it's not open. Looks to Zephyrin.
Zephyrin just holds up his thieves' tools.
Make me a roll.
Now, with rolling these, I mean, I have proficiency. Is it just like a flat d20 plus proficiency?
I believe it's plus dex plus proficiency.
So, proficiency's 2, so we will dex. Let me just see.
Okay. You are able to kajigger it open. It's a technical
Okay.
term. And the door swings open silently. Because it's a school, they use oil.
And he sort of like creeps forward. He's like, right, okay. And he sort of crouches below the door.
First of all, I think we should try listening here and see if we can hear anything. Then I'm gonna burst in. There's gonna be some amateur dramatics I learned in drama class. And it's like, and hopefully they'll leave the book as well. As they run after Fable and Winnie.
Okay. And Zephyr's gonna, like, if there's any gaps in the, like, around the door frame, he's gonna put his ear up to it.
Okay. Are you hiding while Ronan is being distracting?
I thought we were gonna listen first.
We're gonna listen first, and
Okay.
then he's going to try and get them to forget about the book.
Perceptions.
Finally.
Yeah, it's because we're not fighting anything.
Our lives are not in danger.
Yeah.
So you think. Zephyrin, would you
Truth.
also like to roll a perception?
I did. It's the 18.
Oh, I see it. Okay, so you listen up to the door, and you can't hear Zephyr's dad as well from this side because he's on the other side of the room. But you hear Shakirsi, and she says, "Look, I can make sure that they're okay. I can watch over them, no problem. But I can't go back there, and you all know why. If I move back there, then she could come through here. We don't want that." And there's more discussion you can't hear.
I think Ronan looks down at Zephyrin.
It's like, you need to get hold of that book. You get it and you run.
Okay.
Okay.
And he starts like limbering up, does like a lunge outside, starts stretching.
I've got this. Okay, as soon as I start the distraction, you need to get in there and get the book and get out as quickly as possible. I'm running the opposite direction of Fable and Winnie.
Right. Got it.
Okay. And we'll rendezvous at... He starts to panic. Behind the... Oh no, that's where the book came from.
He starts to panic.
By the big tree on the outskirts. We'll go there.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
And
You want me to roll my stealth now, or?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to kick the door down, please.
I'm going to use advantage
Okay.
in case.
And Ronan, athletics me or acrobatics me. I will let you do
I'm
acrobatics.
cartwheeling into this room. Are you kidding me? This is my best skill. I'm all out of advantages, I think.
So Zephyrin, you
Run
tuck
into the
inside the next room over and are pretty invisible. You do it very silently. The doors are pretty close together, so you can still hear everything that's going on. And you hear as Ronan kicks the door and says a swear, which is like essentially like fart, where it's not a swear, but probably thinks it's a swear, and then tries it one more time and kind of falls into the room.
He quickly stands back up and looks to all of the adults. And he's like, oh! And he does like this really over-dramatic thing. And he just collapses on the floor. Just going like twitching slightly. First.
Okay, roll me a performance. For your
Damn
dear
it.
mum to believe you're
Come on.
dying.
Come on. 13! Oh! As he makes like more noises.
Okay.
He sort of mutters like, chaos at the festival, like in a really weak voice.
And you do that. You see that Rosie has the book, and she closes it and lays it down and comes over and says, "What's she doing?"
I'm weak. I fear for Winnie.
As he sort of rolls over, he's like,
Fable headed towards the flames, and Winnie ran
after her, and he's like, getting all extra faces, and he's just like jabbering, and he starts to Like, he doesn't know what to do. He failed drama. Like, he then starts to cry and he's like, we must hurry, they may be in danger. And he starts pulling at all of them. And he's like, and someone took Zephyrin. And he runs out the door and sprints away.
And Zephyrin, from your place of hiding, you can see all the adults exchange a look that is...
Ronan's lost it.
Okay, clearly something is going on. But probably not this. And they start to file out. Winnie and Fable's parents go first. Your dad leaves with Shakirsi, and Rosie lingers for a moment with the book.
In the distance you hear, oh! Like, Fable, no! Like, he's just sprinting towards, like, to get to Winnie and Fable before the adults do. Like,
and as your dad and Shakirsi pass you, you hear her say to your dad, something's happened. They're definitely stronger and faster than they were just this morning.
to differ.
Almost dying really changes a person.
Finding that people are mushrooms.
Traumatized by the food. It's that moose donut just gave me a real.
My whole outlook on life has changed in mere hours.
So you said they left the book, or does
Rosie is there with the book, and she watches everyone leave, and you hear a very heavy sigh come from her, and she starts to move out of the room. And she walks past you. You can see the book in her bag.
Well, I guess I will try to grab it.
Okay, sleight of hand me. Are you using an advantage or no?
I'm gonna use another advantage, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. She does not notice it. You're able to swipe it out. And she continues on after the rest of the adults.
I wait until they clear out, and then I sneak out and make my way over to the tree that Ronan mentioned.
Okay. Ronan, how are you escaping the adults that are now following you?
He is sprinting. He is running fast, but he's trying to weave, like, if there's not passageways and things. I know it's not a busy place, but he's, like, you know, tucking behind a cart here and there, but he's trying to get towards Winnie and Fable. He is ducking behind things. Every now and then, if it looks like they lose interest, or if he sees Zephyr in the island running towards the tree, he makes another sort of sound. Like, Winnie, no! Like, as he sort of goes.
And Winnie and Fable, how's your distraction going?
I don't know that this is a distraction. I'm really afraid for Fable's life.
Okay, so Fable has no intention of actually getting in trouble. As she's running, she is. I would like to try, as I've seen in the Feywild, to change my season at will.
Okay.
Summer.
Okay.
Which
Make
is
me-
fire season.
Make me an Arcana.
Oh, this is a new experience. I better succeed. Wow.
You do it. You think of how did Twain do it? What did it look like? Okay. And just like It's a lot of summer. It is very summer. Unfortunately, your eyes do not change, but everything else changes to very summer.
So, question. When I change at will, do my emotions change with it?
Make me a wisdom saving throw.
This is a scary concept.
You remain in control of your emotions.
Okay. So I am now summer, which means I can now produce fire. I am not wanting to like cause a big scene. Like, I mean, I want to be in the direction of the festival, but I don't really want to run through the festival. Are there like piles of wood on the outskirts of the festival that maybe I wouldn't get in trouble for lighting on fire?
That you wouldn't? Probably not. There are piles of wood that are waiting to be thrown onto the fire, but clearly not in a fire formation yet.
Are the fires already on fire?
Yes.
Well, that's a disappointment. So I guess Fable really truly is just running in circles around
the
these
effigy
fires.
is not on fire, and there are a lot of like hay formations that are not on fire.
Oh,
that are not intended to be on fire.
How much trouble am I gonna get into? Does it really matter if it's for the sake of the town? No. She's gonna go for it. I made her impulsive. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I would really not like to burn down the town. So if that's an option, let's stick with that one. I gotta figure out what spell it is. Sorry.
That's fine.
It's fire something.
I dropped a snack.
Firebolt.
It's Firebolt. I used it on a wolf earlier. It was quite entertaining.
Barbecue
for those
wolf.
of you who are a little late to the party. Go check it out on YouTube. Okay, anyways. Oh. So Firebolt. I get to hurl a mote of fire at a creature or object within range. I am going to make a ranged spell attack against one of the bales of hay that I don't think is going to cause a lot of like damage if it gets out of control. So I have to roll a d20, don't I?
Roll me a survival first, and then go
no.
or nature, and then go ahead and roll me your d20.
Let's
This is to see how good you are while you're running, deciding, which way down the town.
Okay. That's
Roll me
still
a
scary. I'm gonna roll that d20 with my heart, and it's not great. But
It's a bale of hay, so its AC is pretty low.
okay, that's good. So I hit it.
Yep, you hit it.
Okay,
And
good.
it burn fairly immediately.
Fable is now both giggling and yelling, "I've got the fire!" as she runs in circles around this one hay bale that she's lit on fire. She's also would like to find a stick. Is there a stick?
There are
nearby?
sticks around. Yeah.
I would like to grab the stick. I'm just gonna keep doing things till people walk up. I'd like to grab the stick and start poking the fire with the stick, trying to act incognito.
Ronan, you see this.
At the top of her lungs.
You see this as Fable is running around jabbing a flaming hay bale, and Winnie is chasing after.
I want to tackle her. Like I want to straight up, like I'm scared for her life. Like take her down. Get her on fire.
Knock her out.
Okay. Winnie, roll me in athletics, and Fable, roll me in acrobatics.
I'm gonna use it. Damn it!
You're able to tackle the stick.
No!
It is slightly smoldering.
I beat her with the stick.
Just chase after her.
No, bad Fable.
Get off my lawn!
Fail safety class.
So Ronan runs up to you, y'all, and there is a fan of adults following.
Fable
First of
and
all,
meat.
He looks at the fire like, what did you do? I would like, he's like, to the tree! And he sort of picks up both Fable and Winnie and runs. Because he's much bigger and he just needs them away and out of sight from the adults as quickly as possible.
Fable is like yelling. She's like, but not my fire. Freedom was mine.
As you're getting jabbed in the cheek with a stick, as Winnie is also being carried.
I sprint towards the tree where I told to meet Zephyrin.
Zephyrin is by the tree. How are you shaking? You said you were bobbing and weaving to shake the parents?
Yeah, he's holding them both because he's much taller. Like one's one under the arm, the other's over, and he's like pressing himself up against a cart and then sliding down the other side, and just like running from tree to tree.
Yeah, make me acrobatics or survival.
Oh boy. Okay.
Spicy rolls.
Come on. Clicked on that. Is it roll 20 taking forever? Okay, I'm gonna roll again.
Okay.
But 2 may come up.
I believe in you.
Nothing is coming up.
Do it.
I know I've pressed the button.
Come on, roll 20.
Come on, roll 20. I
I
believe
do
in you.
believe in roll 20. I do.
I do.
Oh,
Nat 20!
The fates have chosen. You're
Yes!
Take the parents as they get immediately distracted by this fire that they need to put out pretty immediately. So they start working on that, and you're able to
I
slip
put
away.
my sunglasses on and I run.
No.
On a nat 20, I
The
feel
fire
my way there.
behind you reflects, and by that you're able to tell heading away.
Dun, 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 dun.
And you catch up with Zephyrin, who's by the tree as promised.
I arrive majestically.
With
Over
classmates.
with like my friends, one under my arm over sunglasses, and I'm like, "Hey, Zephyrin." So I slowly put them to the floor.
I've never felt so alive. Fable.
Would Zephyrin have seen the hay thing go up in flames?
There's a glow that wasn't there before in the distance.
So, did the distraction go well?
I thought it was wonderful. And they say fire's dangerous and that we should stay away from it. But honestly, it's really fun. Like, watch. And she's going to, like, get herself ready to cast it again.
No. Zephyrin just looks at the others. What did she do?
I try to tackle her again.
Ronan's just stood there victorious, he's so proud of himself.
I really want Winnie to tackle.
Oh, he lets them tackle each other. He's just very
He's like,
proud right now. He just sit there.
Fire is fun.
Fable's gotten a taste of freedom and it's changing her.
He pushes the sunglasses like back on top of his head so his ears are flat down. He's like, "Did you get the book?" As he ignores the two that are just like beating the crap out of each other on the floor.
Nick, and I'm like,
Zephyrin
this
holds-
could have been me.
It was meant to be.
What? You just hear Fable scream, I'm sorry, Winnie, I had to!
Zephyrin takes the book out from behind him and puts it down on the ground and flips it open.
As you open it, everybody make me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
No
Oh, no.
harm ever came from reading a book.
Of course not.
Oh, Lord.
Oh!
I'm
You're shielded by Fable.
Oh, wait, I forgot to roll that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh.
As the book opens, Zephyrin and Ronan fall asleep.
Catnap.
fuckers.
a 19 wasn't enough for that?
Do they not see us? Do they just continue to fight? As we're like,
Fable's laughing at this point.
like, I'm assuming Zephyr's fallen asleep on the book. Like, Ronan is draped over Zephyr, sunglasses in hand. Like,
And what languages do Winnie and Fable speak?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Common, Dwarvish, Elvish, and Sylvan.
Common and Elvish.
Okay. You look at the book after you are squabbling and realize that the others have fallen asleep. And it seems like it's almost Elvish, but like how Shakespearean is English.
illegible.
Yes.
Question. Would I be able to comprehend it a little bit more since I'm used to reading older books?
You can definitely tell. Roll me a history.
Okay, sure. History. Where are you? I'm gonna find you. Wait, actually, really, I can't find it. There it is.
So you are able to tell that it is probably hundreds, more than 500 years archaic. So it's very old. Possibly more than 1,000 years. And it's not strictly archaic. It also seems to be mixed with some other language. Kind of like Spanglish. And you've never seen, even your older books you have, this particular dialect before. As you're reading it, it reads like a diary of a kind of crazy person, where some things that you're reading are just the same things over and over again of picked berries, pick berries, pick berries, pick berries, pick berries, bear berries. And it doesn't seem like it.
Broke Alice.
It doesn't seem like one would keep a diary of today I saw 7 trout. And, you know, not very linear.
I'm sorry that I let us kill myself.
Fire!
Someone I picture picking berries. Oh, bear. Okay, I'm done.
And if you flip forward to the earlier pages, you see it's a bit more cohesive. And if you flip towards the end, it seems a bit more cohesive as well. But towards the middle, things like they're different size fonts and scribbled sideways on the edges.
Winnie?
Yes.
This is really old. This is really, really, really old. And I don't know what it is. Like I've read a lot of old books, but I don't know what this one is. Why are they sleeping?
Why are they sleeping?
Why am I sleeping?
I've never seen this language before.
Fable would like to give Ronan a wet willy. Or he like
I bite in my sleep.
I like to live on the edge. I just made fire, Ronan.
I'd like to dream bite, please, if I can.
You
Wait,
see
does that wake
Ronan,
Ronan up though?
but it does not wake Ronan.
Now it's just awkward.
I don't know if you've ever heard a cat growl, but that sort of noise.
Oh, okay.
I'll try to wake up Zephyr.
How are you wet willing him? Or like shaking or
I'm gonna very gently, try to get him up. Like I, pat his cheek and whisper in his ear.
does not seem to rouse him.
Is he dead? Can I take his bed?
Roll me a medicine.
God,
No
I hope
one's
not.
worried if Ronan's dead. Fable's just giving him away.
Ronan just sleep growled at me.
It's just like, it took you to do it to test that.
You do feel a pulse. Had you rolled a nat 1, you probably would think that Zephyrin was dead.
Good thing it was a low check. I might have gotten beaten up from some CPR or something.
Okay, can I cast a... Oh, it would be an auto crit, wouldn't it, though? I don't want to hurt him. Fable, how do we wake them up?
Well, I mean, I tried what usually works on Legend, and that didn't work on Ronan, so...
Stick your spitty finger in your brother's ear every morning?
Okay, in my defense, he does the same to me. It's like a routine.
Oh my god, stop.
I don't know why you guys think that's so weird. I mean, I could always make fire. That seemed to get a rise out of everybody.
That's a dangerous.
Okay, I won't make any more fire, Winnie, unless I have gloves on.
Okay.
Gloves are safe, right?
It's
This isn't gonna mess with my application into safety school, is it?
absolutely going to mess with that application.
But
Fable.
Winnie, it was for the good of the people.
Do you have like a knife or a dagger?
Yeah, I have this one, and she pulls out the dagger that she got from the dude that led us through the Fey Wilderness. What was his name?
Twain?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
My sister turns to be out
Where's this going?
No, I just want to take like the pointy end and just like very like gently poke like Zephyrin on his hand or on his finger. Like I don't want to hurt him or like make him bleed or anything, but I want to inflict enough pain that would like wake somebody that was in shock. No, like my special skill is the dramatic one.
Yeah, okay, roll it.
What do you want me to roll?
You said your skill was with medic, right?
Yeah.
So, whatever I said that was based on, was it int or whiz?
I think it was wisdom.
So a wisdom roll plus proficiency.
Why do I have -1 in wisdom? That was stupid.
Okay. You poke Zephyrin.
Cool.
You see a bit of blood well up.
Did it hurt?
You don't know, he's not awake.
We're playing with a different kind of fire, Winnie.
I put a band-aid on his finger.
Aw. Can I sign the Band-Aid?
Sure.
I think Zephyrin still has like the bandage on his left arm from that Winnie put on it from when he got bit by the wolves back in session 1.
And Winnie and Fable, roll me a perception check.
Okay. don't see it.
Now Roll20 is up to its usual antics.
This is beautiful.
It's
You-
only bad when it matters.
As Winnie is patching up Zephyrin, Fable, you have the book and you're kind of, I don't know what you are looking at. What would you be looking at? Would you be watching this whole thing unfold?
The Band-Aid? Yeah, I'd probably be more intently focused on that. Yeah, that's what I'm focused on.
You see out of the corner of your eye something dark snake across Ronan, and he disappears.
Wait, Ronan disappears?
Yes.
Are we still we're not tied together.
No, because you set yourself on fire.
It was we. Okay. Fable is immediately gonna start screaming. Well, I guess Winnie would. Fable's gonna immediately start screaming, Ronan, and then Winnie, and then Ronan, and then Zephyrin, just names over and over and over and over and over, like in terror.
Winnie, are
And
you
she's gonna
looking?
go grab Zephyrin and Winnie.
Well, yeah, I would look up from like patching up, the wound I caused.
You see another black tendril snake across Zephyrin, who also disappears.
A tendril.
Wait, do I not go with Zephyrin?
And
But
next
I
to
was
you see two sets of prismatic eyes open and look at you. And that's where we're going to call the session today.
No.
Who's that? Wait, what? Eyes? Where are they?
Eyes.
Because we disappeared, so...
Oh, you two don't see this, but the two that are still there see eyes seem to appear out of nowhere.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like our bodies were
Run.
still there. I want to make sure I
Nah.
understood that.
You go on.
Awesome, thank you. My face hurts after this game, so I'm very happy about it. Bears is now my new favorite thing. It has topped moose meat donut. So I just want to say, please check out the links that are coming up in chat now. That includes our Discord if you want to go and yell about whatever the hell just happened. Like in that, please go check it out. If you want to catch up on anything, also check out our YouTube. If you want to catch up on the playlist there. Otherwise, a huge thank you to our wonderful sponsors who we couldn't do this without, in the form of Hero Forge, Mage Hand Press, and also the Deck of Many. You can check out all of their awesome stuff. They've made some amazing things. Otherwise, keep evoking emotions, and we'll see you later. Bye.